Hello, welcome to NeilScribe. I love capitalism and I love the stories that the free market leaves behind. I love reading about business wars from the past and watching current wars unfold in front of me, from Mac versus PC to the current streaming wars between Netflix, Disney, and other competitors. I find it also compelling, and there is a brand new war unfolding in the gaming industry that I find wildly compelling because it involves all of the major technology brands. The competitors are Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Sony, and Nintendo, and they'll all be competing in the upcoming game streaming wars. Nvidia also has a streaming service, but we won't factor them in here today. They're more of a wild card. Anyway, there are three gaming segments. There's mobile, console, and PC, and they're all on a collision course with one another, and they'll eventually merge into one experience. And that experience will be playing a game with a controller via your preferred cloud-based streaming service. There will be exceptions, such as certain games are best experienced with a keyboard and mouse, and there's also games that are best played on a touchscreen. But by and large, most gamers will be streaming their favorite games in the next 5 to 15 years. And you can already see signs of this collision course with cross-platform games like Fortnite and Minecraft that players can play together whether they're on PC, console, or mobile. Similar to how video streaming opened the doors for new competitors, the doors are now open for big tech to enter the industry. And all of a sudden, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo find themselves in the ring against the titans of the industry. And there is a lot of money at stake. One market research firm estimates that the gaming industry will grow to over $200 billion and over 3 billion gamers by 2021. Now let's explore all 6 contenders, starting with the companies I find least compelling to most compelling. The criteria being intellectual property, marketplace, and cloud computing infrastructure. So to kick things off, at number 6 is Google with the Stadia service. Google has 2 things going for it: its marketplace and cloud services infrastructure. Google has a massive marketplace. There are 2.5 billion Android devices, almost 120 billion apps were downloaded in 2019, almost 30 billion of them were games. If Google is smart, it will figure out a way to leverage the Play Store to gain customers for the service. There's too much traffic on the Play Store not to do that. As for cloud infrastructure, Google is behind Microsoft and Amazon in this arena, but it has more than enough expertise to be self-reliant. So aside from its marketplace and cloud infrastructure, Google has a lot to address. Stadia is around a year old and its gaming library is lacking, and also its business model is a bit outdated in my opinion. I think customers have become accustomed to the Netflix experience, one subscription and unlimited access regarding the streaming library. The Amazon Prime Video model would be an excellent middle ground where members have free access to a portion of the library, and then it can purchase content outside of the base library as they please. With Stadia, you have to purchase the games individually. Another thing Google needs to do is start acquiring intellectual property, or IP. The more exclusive games it can offer on the platform, the more users it will attract, and the users will be loyal to it. And there's no surer path to that than owning your own IP. Google is such a big company, it can acquire any game developer it wants. If we see Google make that kind of commitment, then we know they're fully committed, unlike what they've shown so far. Stadia's library is limited due to, in large part, because the platform is based on Linux, which is a problem. You see, most games are built on other operating systems like Windows, so if developers want to include games on Stadia, they'll have to do a lot of work to have them work on Linux. But Google has 2 wildcards in its favor. In my opinion, they could possibly bundle Stadia with either YouTube TV or YouTube Premium if they wanted to in the future. And of course, being an advertising and data mining juggernaut, it has no problem marketing whatever it wants. Okay, next at number 5 is Apple with its Apple Arcade service. I ranked Apple at number 5 because it's shown that it's willing to leverage its ecosystem on top of its robust marketplace. But its lack in cloud services infrastructure and IP keeps it being from ranked higher. So Apple Arcade was released last year and costs $5 a month. While it's not perfect, it has one major thing going for it, and that is the Apple One bundle. Apple One will include Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, Apple Arcade, and iCloud, and also News, all in one bundle. Apple TV is approaching 40 million users, and along with their other elements like music streaming, Apple is definitely an exciting contender. But then there's its cloud infrastructure. Apple has iCloud, but that's basically based on Amazon, Google, and Microsoft's cloud services in varying degrees. So without the cloud infrastructure, Apple will need to rely on a competitor's cloud service. As it stands now, Apple Arcade is not a streaming service. You have to download the games onto an iPhone or iPad. And this is an issue for serious gamers who prefer to play games on TVs. Users can play on an Apple TV device, but that does not stand a chance against current consoles. But Apple appears to be riding the ship because it filed a patent for a network-controlled interactive service, which is technical jargon that means cloud gaming. So Apple is similar to Google. It just needs to build its IP, and it's definitely large enough to acquire any game studio that it wants. So if we see Apple take the plunge and acquire a major studio, the other companies need to watch out. All right, on to number 4 with Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo is weak in key areas and is over 10 times smaller than all the competitors except Sony. But I put it ahead of Google and Apple, and I almost placed it at 3 for one simple reason, and that is IP. Because as I said before, content is king, and Nintendo is hands down the Disney of the gaming industry. I mean, you're talking about Mario, Zelda, Super Smash Brothers, the list goes on and on. These are decades-old iconic franchises that have stood the test of time, repeatedly appearing at each generation. And these franchises are easily accessible and universally appealing that the whole family can enjoy. Like Apple Arcade, Nintendo Switch Online is not a streaming service. You download the games onto the Nintendo Switch, but its subscription includes access to a treasure trove full of content from various generations. But also like Apple, it's planning on incorporating cloud streaming in the future. Nintendo is reportedly working with Microsoft to get its gaming service into the cloud via Microsoft's Azure cloud infrastructure. Now, this may not happen for a while, but Nintendo will eventually have to migrate to the cloud. And this finally leaves Marketplace. While Nintendo has built a seemingly unbreakable brand, its marketplace is stagnant. It's a dead end. You see, Apple has the App Store, Google has the Play Store. These are fluid, high-traffic, multi-application markets. Nintendo has to rely on its brand and good old-fashioned marketing to bring consumers in. But Nintendo has proven over the years that it can reinvent itself, and it's always going to be around in the gaming industry, and it will likely continue to be the market's family-friendly niche. Alright, now we're getting to the heavy hitters with Amazon at number 3 and its Luna gaming streaming service. I had a tough time placing Amazon. I came close putting it at the number 2 spot several times, but what kept it in third was IP. Amazon does not own any IP that is must play at the moment, but they are on the right track. They created Amazon Game Studios in 2012 and has published 9 games so far and can only get better in theory. And they have an interesting multiplayer online RPG called New World coming out in 2021. But Amazon will be heavily reliant on third-party developers. However, unlike Google, Amazon was smart and has the Luna servers run on Windows, which means game developers will be able to port the games to Luna with minimal effort. And speaking of servers, Amazon's cloud infrastructure is likely the strongest of all of the competitors except perhaps Microsoft's Azure. So this arguably makes Amazon the only company on this list that is capable of full vertical integration. You could argue Microsoft is the same, but Amazon is definitely there. It can run its own cloud service, it can make its own games, and definitely has a marketplace to sell its platform. Amazon goes without saying, it's the king of online retail. I mean, I'm a Prime member and I'm just one of over 150 million members. And that is Amazon's ultimate trump card in my opinion. I mean, push come to shove, Amazon could integrate Luna into its Amazon Game Service, which comes free with Prime. I mean, it's not free, you pay for it in your membership, but they could charge its members a few bucks more perhaps, and I mean, whew, that's powerful. But as it stands, Luna is a separate service from Prime. It's clear Amazon is not going anywhere, it's an unstoppable force. And the gaming industry is just another part of Jeff Bezos' invasion into every industry on the planet and even into space. All right, now we're down to number 2, Sony with its PlayStation Now service. Yes, Sony was able to fight off the Amazon juggernaut and take the number 2 spot because it has incredible IP, because again, content is king. Sony Interactive Entertainment owns an extensive collection of AAA game franchises such as Gran Turismo, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, and more. But Sony has the ultimate trump card in my opinion, and if it has the balls, it will follow Apple's lead. Sony could offer a bundle service like Apple One, but the difference is Sony actually owns content. It has the trifecta. It has Sony Pictures, Sony Music, and Sony Interactive Entertainment. I think Sony needs to do this, create a video streaming service and create a music streaming service and then offer a bundle with PlayStation Now. I would be surprised if Sony did not do this because that was its vision when it bought CBS Pictures and CBS Studios. It wanted to leverage its content and now it has the chance. Anyway, I think if Sony can bundle, I think it can be a dominant force, and that is why I put it ahead of Amazon. But for the rest of the criteria, Sony is behind. Sony will have to rely on a competitor's cloud like Microsoft's to run its platform. And Sony does not have a marketplace that it can leverage like the App Store or like Amazon. All right, on to number 1 with Microsoft and its Game Pass service. Microsoft has so much going for it. Let's first start out with IP. Microsoft's gaming IP is arguably behind Nintendo's and Sony's, but it owns a fair amount of AAA franchises, including Minecraft, Halo, and Gears of War. On top of that, Microsoft recently acquired ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda Softworks, for $7.5 billion. This acquisition practically doubles the number of AAA franchises in its control, including Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom. So with its content and robust cloud infrastructure, it can vertically integrate to a certain degree, but it's missing a good marketplace to leverage. But that is where Facebook comes in. Microsoft recently partnered with Facebook, which will open Microsoft's Game Pass service to Facebook's 800 million monthly gamers. And in return, Microsoft shut down Mixer, its game-centered video streaming service, similar to Amazon's Twitch. Microsoft is now redirecting all Mixer apps and memberships to Facebook's Game Hub, which is the main competitor to Twitch. So considering Microsoft's IP, cloud infrastructure, and partnership with Facebook, it's the number 1 contender, in my opinion, to win the game streaming wars. Let me know your opinion in the comments. Alright, that's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed your journey. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I am Neil Scribe, and I'll see you on the next journey.